market a complex product like finance requires completely new out-of-the-box thinking. Financial services have evolved and morphed into such a different animal, from being totally bricks and mortar to becoming digital, from being oriented towards the relationship between the banker and the customer to becoming fully immersed in data analytics. And today's panel is going to walk us through how in this changing, morphing, ever complex world, education, enlightenment, awareness, and customer connect can be created in the field of finance. Starting with Mr. Ravi Santhanam, Chief Marketing Officer, HDFC Bank. After spending almost 30 years in the industry, where he has spent time across the financial and telecom industries, Ravi currently leads all the marketing initiatives of HDFC Bank. Welcome, Ravi.
Thank you.
To my right is Ms. Asha Kharga, Executive Vice President and Group CMO, Axis Bank. Starting her journey from the agency ecosystem and then spending a decade in Hindustan Unilever, handling marketing for multiple categories, Asha currently leads marketing for all businesses of the Axis Bank Group. Welcome, Asha.
Thank you.
To my left is Mr. Sujit Ganguly, CMO, ICICI Bank. Spending a decade in Hindustan Unilever, Sujit is now in charge of everything that ICICI Bank says while leading both brand and corporate communication for ICICI Bank. Welcome, Sujit.
Thank you.
To my immediate left is Mr. Abhishek Gupta, CMO, Edelweiss Tokyo Life Insurance. From retail to financial services, Abhishek has marketed products across categories. He currently is in charge of all marketing initiatives of Edelweiss Tokyo Life Insurance. Welcome, Abhishek.
Thank you.
And to my extreme left is Mr. Jatin Modi, founder and CEO, Frog Ideas. He is a digital and PR expert. From winning Agency of the Year to being a faculty in top MBA institutes, including the IIMs, Jatin is a consultant to multiple Fortune 500 companies across the globe. Welcome, Jatin.
Thank you.
To begin our discussion, let's talk about the evolution of financial services. Financial services evolved from brick and mortar ecosystem to a fully digital ecosystem. I'd like all the panelists to talk about how financial services marketing evolved with this transformation and what are the underlying principles that have had to change to make marketing still relevant. We'll begin with you.
Marketer's perspective, what is fundamentally changed is you need to serve the consumers, and you started looking at brick and mortar as the point at which you will meet the consumer. Now you are meeting the consumer almost on every second basis. So what is about once a week kind of an interaction has become an interaction almost like every day, every hour. So that's a phenomenal change from a marketer's perspective to understand and appreciate and be relevant to that consumer every hour whenever he's looking at anything in the medium.
Yeah, so if I had to just add to what Ravi said, he said that the world's going increasingly digital and, and therefore the consumer is shifting to digital. I want to say that it's really important to keep the balance between high tech and high touch. And this I feel very strongly because it's important to get the balance right. So let me give you a small example. Today, when a customer walks into a branch, the customer walks for a service request. 90% of those service requests are today digitalized. So whether it's a checkbook request, whether it's changing of your address, updating your mobile number, and the customer expects that. But there is also the world of personal finance, which is quite complicated, which is quite distant, which is full of jargon. And there you need the importance of a human being to explain what I would call complex financial concepts in a way that people understand.
What happens typically in a life insurance business, still a lot of buying happens through person-to-person interaction. The online adoption is currently close to 20%, but still almost all sales are happening through a interaction where there's an assisted selling. And so under such a scenario, we cannot actually fully take away the human interaction which is there. But since consumers are increasingly researching about the products online and then basing their decision on the various research that they have done, online is a given space for life insurance industry.
Sujit, in the light of the fact that bank branches are closing down all over the world and there's a big premium to entering a branch, so where do you think all of this is going?
I think the word I'd like to use instead of brick and mortar is brick and click, because as we see, there are customers stroke consumers of different types. If I make a 2x2 axis simple one, which is complexity of the transaction and the digital savviness of the customer, there will be people who will be filling in the different sets of the metrics. So there will be some people who will be very comfortable doing all transactions on the phone or on the net, and there will be some people who would want the comfort of coming to a branch and being handled properly. As banks, it is incumbent for us to be able to service the customer the way they want. That's extremely important, point number one. Point number two, so I would say high velocity, high frequency, people are choosing, more and more people are choosing on the phone to do it, and it's mutually beneficial. We are also seeing that customers who are more aligned towards digital channels have higher satisfaction scores, so it's beneficial for the customer, beneficial for the organization, so it's a win-win. But there will always be a role for the advisory part in the branches.
Brilliant. So bricks and clicks will both survive.
Both survive.
Wonderful. Jatin, as a marketer, what is your perspective?
Today, what is happening is that there is enough research which says that, almost 50, 60, 70%, depending on which product category it belongs to, the decision-making process is also being done online. So not only is it a game of top-of-mind recall, but also consideration, which is happening largely online.
The next issue that comes up is the whole difference between selling a product, storytelling in marketing parlance. So are we switching completely from product features, which all of you outlined in your initial interaction, to storytelling, to capture the mood and the mind of the customer?
We strongly believe consumers do not buy home loans, consumers do not buy car loans, or consumers do not buy personal loans. Consumers buy homes, consumers buy cars, and consumer buy experiences. And finance is an enabler for all this stuff. We want to tell a story which the consumer appreciates, understands, and which actually enables her to do what she wants to do. So in this product is, if I go talk more about product features and benefits, people don't understand and appreciate. What they appreciate is, yeah, I want to buy a car, how are you going to help me? So we always try to pitch in with what the consumer wants to do, and storytelling has always been part of the narrative of the salesperson for a long period of time. And in marketing, what we try and do is what better storytelling the salesperson does, we pick it up and take it out.
Asha, what do you think about, has storytelling resonated with the financial consumer?
Yeah, so just to give some context, I feel no consumer wakes up in the morning saying, I want to engage with a banking product today. Right. I think it's really at the bottom of the list. I think high involvement with money, low involvement with banking per se. And therefore, I think by default, most brands, including all the brands that are sitting over here, have actually engaged in the storytelling format to build connections. And therefore, the role of emotions in all the things that Ravi mentioned, whether it's buying a home, whether it's about seeking experiences, are all rooted in emotions. And therefore, the emotional connect and storytelling is crucial.
Brilliant. But so then how does the magic of numbers actually happen?
If you're able to link the story that has been created to the absolute need of the consumers and then bring it back to hardcore numbers, I think you have the complete triangle, and therefore the sale is right sitting in the middle.
Wonderful. Sujit, what is your take on whether stories are the best medium that human beings learn from and retain with?
So I'll take a slight shift with your permission, but still be on the topic. Instead of storytelling, I will say, is there a role for both insight-based communication and direct product communication? And I'll give you 2 examples to explain. Similarly, last year we launched the country's first mobile app dedicated to SMEs. It had more than 100 features. Instead of directly jumping onto the features, we talked about the issues that they face and how the app can resolve. Having said that, I will not look down on the other side, because if I have to do a Diwali promo and if I have to be the fastest to be off the blocks, and cut all the noise out and tell people like, look, this Diwali promo, this is the best that you can get, for be it for a bank or be it for an e-com company or anywhere else, then I think I'd look for the cleanest, less cluttered communication. I'll go directly.
So as a digital marketing expert, what's your take on storytelling?
Fundamentally, people are scared of banking and financial products and the fine detail and the fine print that it entails. So I believe that while storytelling, of course, is the fundamental way to communicate with people, it has to be rooted in the values of organizations.
So you have brought up a very interesting leading thought of disintermediation, of a C2C world. But in that light, how is influencer marketing, both of people who are custodians of financial services brands, and in the light of the star micro and macro influencers that we are all seeing all over the place? So is there the bridge, is that the bridge between the consumer and the company which creates the trust?
I'm not sure whether it is the bridge today or it's the only bridge available, but I see a lot of things which have happened because of the way in which technology primarily has made all of us behave. Most of us invariably, if you're going to look at any product, you also want to look at the rating and the reviews of people who are not known to you, and you have started trusting that judgment, saying that minimum 4-star, then only I will do something. And influencer marketing helps in that way that there are a lot more people that we have started trusting now, and if they've had a good experience, then there's something good about it. So influencer marketing is at least enabling a lot of brands to come into the consideration set.
Yeah, so in my experience, I've seen that when you have specific segments that you're trying to target, say for example, a Forex card like Sujit mentioned. If I want to target people who are interested in going out of the country, and I want to pitch the Forex card to them and asking them to switch from cash to the Forex card, then I think there are a set of influencers who would really do the job better for me than going the conventional route of, say, traditional media or print or something like that. So I feel when there is a specific job to be done where a specific community of influencers can push brand choice credibly, that is an opportunity to target into.
I think each brand has to choose its influencer depending on the purpose, as she rightly said, the purpose, how you're going to use it, depending on the target audience for whom you're going to use it, and also see a fitment from both the brand side and the consumer side.
Would you say that depending on the product, the type of influencer, the way to influence, all of that changes?
I think each brand has to choose its influencer depending on the purpose, as she rightly said, the purpose, how you're going to use it, depending on the target audience for whom you're going to use it, and also see a fitment from both the brand side and the consumer side. So that's very important. I don't think one size fits all can be the approach here. Having said that, one big thing that I see as an advantage of using influencers is that there is so much of clutter nowadays and there is so much information overload. How do we catch immediate attention and therefore make the communication work very harder?
What do you feel, Abhishek?
In addition to whatever has been said, one point I would like to say over here is some absolute care needs to be taken in the kind of celebrity, whether it's a macro celebrity or a micro celebrity, in what does the brand stand for and what does celebrity bring to table. They should be absolutely in sync with each other. If there is a mismatch between the values of both the entities, it's a no-go.
A couple of things that what we have seen with influencers is that there are a lot of risks. One is, of course, the mismatch of values. The second is that a lot of times brands only associated with influencers on a short-term, sporadic basis, and a lot of consumers see through that. You might get reach, which gives you what we call as top of funnel metrics, but you will not get any effectiveness. So effective metrics are not driven through that. And so really it's once the values match, the question that brand should be asking is, can we engage with them in a longer run so that the consumer also feels that this is beyond just paid promotion.
So what seems to be happening is that there's a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, blockchain, all these terminology is being used in connection with financial services. So have those exponential technologies taken over financial services and therefore are influencing the way you market financial services, Ravi?
I would say big yes.
Big yes.
So 2009, we had started at HDFC Bank and Analytics Division. So now we are working for almost 10 years with a lot of people. I have more than 60 data scientists working for me. But what this has done is it has given us a phenomenal ability to be extremely relevant to what we want to talk to our consumers. And this kind of an increase in relevance, I don't think would have been possible with the amount of data which all of us have about our consumers. And banking is such a product that they know what you earn, we know what consumers spend on, and how to actually make sure that we use this information effectively for what we need to actually be working with the consumer. That scale at which we can do, I don't think without data analytics we can't.
Even though it's a cliched statement, but even then I will say it, that data is actually going to be the new oil. We could not have imagined it 5 years back, but right now if you see, a large part of our personal loans and credit cards is being given only on the basis of data with no contact with the customer. These are data-led models that have been built and people have been offered loans and credit cards, and if they want they can avail it on their mobile app and it's instant, it's like takes a second. So data, I think, is changing the way banks work.
So I think what Sujit spoke about in terms of what I call mundane transactions where you expect efficiency, and that bit going on digital is a complete given. So, in fact, technology has evolved so much today that just by putting your PAN card number, I can pre-populate an entire form and, disburse a personal loan to you in 2 to 3 minutes is remarkable. One wouldn't even think about it a couple of years ago. But I would, as I keep coming back to it, that many of the investments that we do, and, in fact, when we were talking in the panel before we came here, all of us have a trusted advisor that we go to. The guy whom I go to when I want to go for an international holiday, the friend whom I talk to for the best recipes, the friend whom I talk to for something else, and so on and so forth. And I think the role for a relationship manager or a banker to really know more about you and your needs and your family, and therefore be able to recommend the right set of products for you is quite important. The role for this in tier 2 cities, in tier 3 cities, where between the top 3 private banks, we only have 20% market share. There is 80% market share sitting with the PSU banks. And these are banks that have been there forever. They are neighborhood banks. I've trusted them because my father has been there, my mother goes there. And therefore the role for private banks is to be able to invite and appeal to those people who are still sitting on the fence, who are seeing a lot of digital capabilities, but want, that little bit of warmth, a little bit of trust that really comes from human beings.
Super, very good. So you've created a whole arbitrage opportunity for a few years. So may I ask you, Abhishek, how long do you think those few years will be? Will it be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? What will it be?
I actually think both of this will continue to coexist, and there's not going to be a time frame to it. Because coming back to what I was saying, essentially we all humans love interacting with other human beings. And especially when we are talking about somebody to take care of our finances, we rather like to be assured that we are taking the right step. And especially for a product like us, which is, I'm looking at something which is going to be used when I'm not going to be there.
Exactly. Fantastic. So the point you're bringing out is community. The point you're bringing out is trust. So if I think about community, and I'd like Jatin to go first at this segment, in terms of how do you link this whole digital, analytics, data, community, all of this, how do you bring it together in a framework that would be valuable for marketing?
If you look at the Gen Z or Gen Z plus, and imagine that the 18-year-old today was born in 2002, they actually don't want to talk to humans at all. They only want to talk to their mobile phone, they want to talk to they believe that through this device they're connecting with everything, and they believe that this device gives them incredible information in the way that they like it at the time that they like it. So I'm not sure whether they really enjoy talking with people, hearing their advice. Rather, maybe they want an AI assistant, and there are, now artificial intelligence driven mutual funds and companies which are doing that, which allow you to invest in mutual funds just through AI in India. So, this generation and how it will really evolve and what that will have for financial marketeers and financial business models, I think will be very, very interesting to see. But having said that, I believe that every person fundamentally is looking to be a part of a community. So if you're a screen addict and you love gaming, you want to be a part of a community which is full of gamers. Similarly, in the financial services segment, we see communities which are very successful for women entrepreneurs, for SMEs, because the challenges that they face are very similar and unique, and they want to be a part of an ecosystem where they can find a way to relate with other people, understand and contribute to each other, and connect at a much deeper level.
Challenging world for financial services, and therefore it would challenge every campaign. So would you all please walk us through the campaigns that you all are actually using today?
So during this last festive season, from October to December, we have run a full 360-degree campaign on festive treats brought in by HDFC Bank. And while it had all the media elements, I'll specifically talk about influencer marketing, because that is something which we talked about here. So traditional influencer marketing, you can go in with some big celebrities and ask them to come and endorse your product or your service at that point of time, whatever you're offering to the consumers. This time, as even Sujit was talking, it was about a product feature, about an offer on our credit cards as well as on debit cards. So what we decided to do is not to go and tell consumers that you swipe your card, you will get something. So we actually piggybacked on influencers who were promoting products which anyway they were promoting. Say for example, some influencer is promoting purchase of a certain television set. So after that particular promotion is over, we ask the same influencer to say, this particular television set, if I bought with HDFC Bank card, I will get additional 5,000 rupees off.
Wonderful. How about Axis Bank, Asha?
So one campaign that I feel quite proud about is the new philosophy that we have unveiled on Axis Bank, which is called Open. And Open doesn't stem only as an advertising idea. Open stems from a service transformation initiative that we have taken at the bank. And here marketing worked very closely with the process quality team to deliver initiatives on ground that will enable us to say that we are truly open.
Abhishek, your campaign, which was directed to a particular agenda, so let's...
So actually it is not just a campaign, I think it's more of a philosophy for us. What we realized is women play a huge role in influencing the decision of buying a particular financial product, and especially insurance. And therefore we decided to focus on women in all our communication.
So one campaign that I'd like to talk about is the one that we did a few months back. It was for our SME customers. So we had launched a digital solution whereby for the first time a lot of offerings were coming on the app. The one that I'm really happy and proud about is that on digital, because this is a digital solution, on the digital environment, we were able to reach out very specifically to resellers of a lot of e-com platforms. And they were all the SME target audiences. We also found out other ways of being able to reach SMEs on the digital platforms. So we were able to get top of the funnel. Our tests showed that we got the desired awareness. We got the bottom of the funnel, we got conversions, app downloads, accounts, everything. So to me, this is something that I'm really satisfied with, because we were able to get the full funnel.
Let me end by saying that this was a remarkable panel, because you all were spontaneously able to bring out such nuances and such incredible insights. What I liked most was the connect between the human aspect and the digital aspect. And to bring both those worlds together and show that there is a space for both, I think is incredible. And I purposely asked the question, is it going to last 5 years or 10 years or 15 years? So I'm very happy that all of you seem to believe it will last forever. So with that happy note, thank you very much for being an extraordinary panel, and let's hope that your insights will carry forward.
Thank you so much.
Kiska brand Bajega gives you a chance to visit our studios and interact with India's biggest celebrity brands live by answering a simple question. For which film did Amit Trivedi receive the national award? A. Dev D, B. Dear Zindagi, C. Padman, D. Mission Mangal. Send your answers to us by commenting on our Instagram post and following our page at Kiska_brand_Bajega. I'll see you once again next week on Kiska Brand Bajega, where we continue to uncover the most successful brand stories behind some of the most successful brands. Until then, this is Aditya Bhatt signing off. Happy branding. Today on our show, we have an international diva. With her hard work and poised grace, she has hijacked the hearts of millions of fans. Please join me in welcoming actress, supermodel, and jack of all hearts, Jacqueline Fernandez. How involved are you in the decision of endorsing a particular product category or a brand?
Honestly, I have never personally, physically gone and pitched myself for an endorsement. Sure. I know that there are certain actors who take it a notch further and they barge into the offices of the brands and they say, hey, I'm your next brand ambassador.
I have to create engagement on my Instagram page. If I create more engagement, more profile visits on my Instagram page, so that they click on my link, so that they go visit my website and then buy my product. So creating memes is also part of my job right now.